whether you've been trying for 6 months or 6 years, no matter what, like, it's tough. It was a whole year exactly to the month later of trying. We then go get tests done, and he was very like willing to like come and do whatever was required. And I know a lot of men wouldn't do that. A lot of men carry a lot of pride, and he didn't put up a fight. He didn't. He was just like, yeah, like, let's just go do it and get some answers. We get our test done in January 2020, but a week into quarantine of March 2020, we got the call from my OB. She got our results back, and I don't remember what all she said, but she said we have a very, very, very low option of conceiving naturally, and the only way for us to get pregnant is IUI, IVF, donor egg, donor sperm. And I like started laughing. Like I hung up, I said thank you, hung up, and I started laughing. Like, there was no positive feelings coming from me. I was not happy, I was not joyful, I wasn't relieved, none of that. But I was laughing. And he comes downstairs, he was upstairs playing a video game, and I tell him, I'm like, still laughing, I'm explaining to him what the doctor said, that the only options was IUI, IVF, donor egg, donor sperm, and that we could keep trying, but it's very low that it's gonna happen. And he gets angry, like visibly angry. And I think how he was feeling, like how he was portraying his feelings is how I felt. I just portrayed them very differently than him. And when I told him those options, I remember he was like, absolutely not, we're not doing that, absolutely not. And that was just your first instinct. What were you thinking?
I couldn't even tell you. They're like, for those that have seen me mad, I was like, whatever the maddest is, you've seen me like times 10. So I couldn't even tell you what was going through my mind. I think I went back up, played the game some more. I think I was so mad I ended up like getting a win or something. Couldn't even celebrate it. No idea.
But we spent some time like just separated. He was upstairs, I was downstairs. Just some time to ourselves, trying to digest that. And then he came back downstairs and was like, okay, like, let's talk about it. After the initial shock, I think we switched places. I became problem solver, and you were just like along for the ride. Because I think your shock lasted a lot longer. Because this journey has been running. I don't think I can explain how much my life has been just consumed 100% by all of this since January of 2019. It has been consumed. And so at that point, I wasn't very hopeful. I wasn't very excited, but I was like, all right, let's go. What's next? Like, let's go. I just jumped in. I'm headed to the first step of having a baby. Kind of nervous. I have to go. It's not anything major. You just have to go get blood work done. Because I guess when you're going through fertility treatments and stuff, they just go ahead and get this stuff out of the way instead of waiting until you get pregnant. So that's what I'm going to do now. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so I have to do all this by myself. Damien was not allowed to come with me. I mean, it's just blood work, I know, but like, I'm insanely afraid of like shots and blood needles, IVs, and stuff like that. Like, I'm freaking terrified, like so scared. And so I would love if Damien could come with me. And also, like, it's commemorating our first step to having a baby. So anyways, he can't come, he's at home, but I'm headed to the doctor. My appointment's in like 20 minutes. The doctor was like, these are your options. He gave us IUI or IVF as our option. And I wanted to do the least invasive thing possible, because I knew that IVF involved a lot of injections, and I just didn't want to go that route. And I also knew that IVF was buku expensive. With IVF, you've got 65 to 70% chance of you leading into a baby. And with IUI, it only gives you a 10% more chance than what you originally had. So our chances were very, very low to begin with, but 10% to us was fine. We felt like that was the right way to go. We picked IUI and we went in with that process. I just arrived at our fertility clinic. My appointment's in 4 minutes. I should probably go in right now. This is the first ultrasound appointment. First ultrasound. So I'm on cycle day number 3, I believe this is. I don't know what they're looking for. That's what I'm gonna find out in this first appointment. So we went through 3 rounds of IUI. First one, we were very excited for. We were like, I think I was starting to feel very hopeful at that point. Like I knew more about it. I was going in for monitoring every like 3-4 days or whatever. And leading up to the first one, it was gonna be my best friend's birthday. Like I was feeling all the good vibes. I was super excited to go through with this first round of IUI. So I just got back from my appointment. But I want to show you guys the medications that I'm gonna have to be taking. So the appointment was on my 3rd day of my 3rd cycle, or my 3rd day of my cycle. Wants to look at and see how many eggs I have. That's what he was looking for, just to see how many eggs are developing right now. What they're looking for, the number is between 10 and 15, so I have 16 already, which is really good. It's a positive sign. So for the next 5 days, I'm going to be taking letrozole, which is kind of like Clomid, if you know what Clomid is. They're both medications that increase egg production. If you don't know what IUI is, basically they put me on letrozole so I can create more eggs, and they triggered my ovulation, and then he went in, produced a sample. They got all the good ones, like all the best ones, best swimmers out of that, and then basically they take a catheter and inject the sperm where they need to go. Day 1 of our fertility journey, or our IUI journey, I guess. I just took my letrozole, and I'm supposed to take them every evening, so around the same time. It doesn't have to be like exactly at the same time, just around the same time. I'm not doing Clomid because Clomid is known to have a lot more side effects than letrozole, especially like for my mental health. I know that Clomid has really bad mental health side effects. For letrozole, the normal headache, night sweats, nausea, weight gain. Yikes, I'm already like, I just took letrozole for the first time today, but I'm already getting a little hefty in the face. I go back 7 days after the process, or after the procedure, and not 7 days, 14 days after the procedure, so you still have that like treacherous 2-week wait, which was awful. But you could possibly get a pregnancy test after 7 days, or a positive pregnancy test after 7 days. Your clinic will not suggest you test early. They suggest that you wait the 14 days. But once you're that far into the game, you're a testing junkie. Like, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on pregnancy tests. So IUI number 1 didn't work. I went in for the blood test. I made it to 14 days. Went in for the blood test, but I knew that I wasn't pregnant because nothing was showing up on my pregnancy test. But when you get that call, that I'm sorry call, your HCG levels are low, it hits different. I'm overwhelmed really wanting this to work. It's been a long almost 2 years of trying to have a baby, and like going through the year of thinking like, just keep trying, it'll happen, and then going to figure out that we need to get some professional like medical help, and then now getting to a point where we've taken all these steps to do the right thing, And to get to this point where it was like, if you do all of these things, you will have a baby. And then to be at the week of, it's really overwhelming for me, just because of how bad I really want this. I'm disappointed every month. I take a pregnancy test literally every single month for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And then going through the chemical pregnancy where I saw like multiple positives and then they just start disappearing. I'm at the point in my life right now where I really need some good. I need some good things to happen for me. Not saying that like my whole life isn't good. Like I have a really good life. I have a great family and a great husband and stuff. But I mean, there's always things going on behind the scenes, and some things are harder than the others. And I'm going through some really hard times right now. So Lord, please let this work. Please, Lord. July 21st, the day that I go for my trigger shot. Not go, I'm doing it here, but I'm having my trigger shot today. We have the procedure on Thursday, so I guess that's the timing of it. I do it today. I'm gonna have Damien do the shot for me because I'm terrified. Like, I have been a hot mess all day. I know I can do this, but I'm scared.
If you stop one more time, I'm giving you.
Babe, come on.
I've been trying to come on.
No, don't do.
What do you mean? 5. Less than 5 seconds, y'all. After 35 minutes of bitching, less than 5 seconds.
I really felt supported by our family at that time because, especially like my sister-in-law Callie, she's literally been in like this from before we even took our first took those tests. She's like the first person we told when we found out. So like by her and my brother and sister-in-law, they like always, or my brother and Aisha, they were really supportive. So we're going number 2. Same thing as last time, but instead of Damien giving it to me this time, I decided to let Aisha do it because she really enjoys weird things like this. Like when I asked her if she wanted to do it, you should have seen her face. So
we just need a lady's touch.
I let her
Ladies touch. Okay.
She's way more doctorish than Damien was. We just had it like laying out on my table. You're done. Gosh, it's done. What's up, you guys? So I wanted to come on and kind of round up. I look a mess, but I feel a mess on the inside. So I don't even, it is what it is at this point. But I wanted to come round up what the last few months have been looking like for us. It's been really difficult. So we have done the 3 IUIs, still not pregnant. And it's weird because with IUI, you know that there's only a 10% more of a chance of it working, but that doesn't kind of take away the sting of them not working. So you go into the first IUI, we went in, we were feeling very confident, all blood work was looking good, all monitoring was looking good in the ultrasounds. We had to go ahead to do everything that we needed to do. You do the procedure and they tell you to wait 14 days to come back in for blood work to check your HCG levels. And I was also watching all these other videos on YouTube of people like doing their IUIs and taking tests early 4 or 5 days after their IUI and getting positives. And so I was in it. I tested and I was getting negatives. Well, I would get some faint positives and then they would kind of decrease again. So even going up to beta day, what they call it, or what we call it, beta day, is HCG level day to see how high your HCG levels are. The higher, the better. I kind of knew going into beta day that I was negative, that I was not pregnant. It didn't work. But even when you get that call that it didn't work, even though you know that it didn't work, it's just, it's so hard. I took it really, really, really hard. I was depressed for quite a few weeks just because I was just like, everything looked good. Damien's swimmers were all ready to go. my body was ready to go. I wasn't understanding why it didn't work, but I also was like, well, they also said like it takes 3, it takes a couple of tries for your body to get right, but still, like, your hopes are so high, you think that it should work. But we said that we would do 3 IUIs, we would try at least 3, or at most 3, and then think of our options. So we went into the number 2. I kind of went into it not very optimistic, but not pessimistic. I was very much in the middle. I was still feeling really bad and depressed from the first fail. But I was kind of I wasn't numb at that point. I was still a little bit invested. And it didn't work. And after that second one didn't work, I remember calling my doctor and him being like, how are you doing? And I love my doctor for this, because I would say, I'm okay. Like, I'm doing all right. And he's like, no, how are you really doing? And I would just like break down on the phone. And I love that he just didn't let me get away with really facing how I was feeling. He was very much like, no, you're going to tell me how you're feeling, because obviously the doctors should want to know what their patient's mental is like as they move forward. And so he and Damien both recommended that we not do the 3rd IUI. They just saw how bad I was taking it and how rough it was on me. But I was like, no, we said we'd do 3. We've done 2. We said we'd do 3. Like, we should just go ahead and do the 3rd one. We went into the 3rd one, and Damien and I were just not committed at all. I was completely like numb. I was out of it. Everything was just like going through the motions. I didn't feel an ounce of confidence, an ounce of hope, an ounce of anything. And Damien really wasn't that committed to it either. I think he was definitely starting to feel my disappointment. Like, not that he wasn't disappointed on his own, but like, I'm me, and I take a lot of things very personally, especially when it comes to this. And I don't think I know for a fact he did not like seeing me the way that I was, because it was hurting him watching how hurt I was. So it was really difficult. It was a really difficult time. And we went into the 3rd one, and another negative. And so we had said, well, you know what, let's just take a break. After if the 3rd one doesn't work, we're going to take a break from fertility treatments in general, and we'll just start IVF. But it was really difficult, like, going through those IUIs, because even if, like, you know that it's only a 10% chance from where you started. So we started at a very low rate, and just going up 10% wasn't really going to do a whole lot. But still, getting those negatives and knowing that your body is looking okay, but still getting the negatives is really hard. And at that point, I just felt like my body was just failing me. It wasn't that I wasn't pregnant. It was just what's wrong with my body? Like, we figured everything out. Everything was looking great, but like, why isn't it working? IVF was something that, we didn't want to do. We didn't think that we would have to come to this point. I damn sure didn't think we'd have to come to this point. And I really felt like that. Like, truthfully, I felt like my body was just not working. But the day I got that box of injections, I just broke down. I completely broke down. I had a clip of it, but if you follow me on Instagram, you know that Quavo ate one of my memory cards, and that memory card I hadn't transferred it over to my computer yet, and that memory card had that clip explaining exactly how I felt. But I remember that very vividly. I was just pulling out all the injections, all the needles, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, and I vividly remember growing up and seeing women doing and hearing of IVF, knowing all about it, not all about it, but knowing about it and knowing that it's something that women have to do. And I never thought, like, everyone says this, you never think it's gonna happen to you. Like, I never, and I remember praying to God, like, please, you know me and you know how I am with needles, like, please don't let me have to do IVF. And he was like, little do you know, girl. But that box was just a lot for me. But there's no turning back. I think a lot of this series, I guess, that I'm filming about my IVF is more gonna be so all over the place, because honestly, I'm all over the place. But I have my first ultrasound appointment tomorrow, my baseline appointment, where stuff really gets real. But now I'm about to watch a couple of videos about IVF. I take a class on Friday, so in 2 days, with a nurse, and that's gonna be live with the nurse. They'll show me how to do my medications and stuff, but I meet with the doctor tomorrow, so they told me that I should probably watch these videos and stuff before my appointment.
We'll guide you through the processes and procedures of in vitro fertilization.
Hi everyone, so another check-in here. It is currently November 12th, 2020, Thursday, and I am pulling up for my first baseline ultrasound appointment. This is when everything gets started. This is the first appointment out of many, I hear. So yeah, today I get blood work done. I get, obviously, like I said, ultrasound, and I start injections tonight. I think I get more information in my appointment, so I'm kind of walking in kind of blind about where this medication thing is gonna go, but I'm excited, but I want to be honest. One, so that I can really remember my feelings. I was laughing with my sister-in-law, Aisha, because I took a picture of me crying opening the medication box, because I know myself, and I know that whenever this comes to an end, and praying to God that we end up with a baby at the end of all of this, and someone asks me oh my God, how did you feel opening the box of medications, saying all that, knowing myself, I'd be oh my God, I was totally fine. I was really excited, I was happy, but I wasn't. And it's normal. I feel that's a normal feeling. That's a lot to take in. This is a lot. It's a big journey I'm about to go through. So I am trying to be as truthful as I can about how I'm feeling and my emotions and stuff, just so that when I look back, I can actually remember the real feelings and not kind of play games in my head. And I want to be honest about this appointment right here. I'm not as excited or as hopeful as I was about my IUI, my first IUI, because I know what disappointment feels like, and I'm trying to guard myself and keep myself safe from this year's disappointment. But I'm also excited because this is a higher percentage or a higher chance of actually getting what we want, which is a little baby. So it is Monday, November 16th. And I had my second, my observation appointment this morning, and it went well. They did ultrasound and took more blood work. The doctor said that everything looks good. I have I want to say 10 maturing follicles, and then just a ton of little baby ones. I don't know if I've explained this, but follicles are what holds the eggs. The dumbed down definition for you. But right now I'm really tired. My stomach feels like something's stabbing me from the inside. It hurts so bad. I think I kind of overdid it today, I'm not gonna lie. And I already wasn't feeling that great after my appointment this morning, because the ultrasound wand, it's not one of the ultrasounds that they go over your stomach. It's one of the wands that they literally stick up your vajayjay, and they have to look around at both of my ovaries, and it hurts. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just really uncomfortable. And also my ovaries are expanding, so yeah, I have a little bit of pain. But this is what my stomach looks like. It's getting there. Yeah, I mean, it's getting there, but it hurts. And so we went through the process, did the injections, not easily at all. One of the things that sticks out to me the most was when I was doing my injections over at my brother's house, and my nieces and nephew were watching. And on one hand, I was crying because I did not want to do this. I think it might have been my first one. No.
We did the first two at the house. First one was me and your mom. And then It was me and your mom again, and then that one. It's like third or fourth.
But I remember seeing them watching and just seeing how more put together they were than me, and like feeling embarrassed that like I'm over here crying and like freaking out, and they're just like, it's okay, auntie, like you got it, like, oh, I'm gonna cry, but like that was a really cool moment.
Oh, I'm okay, Bubby.
Oh, she's okay.
Listen, I'm okay.
To see just how strong they were in that moment. Well, sorry, it was just Riley and Ryan. Cannon wasn't watching. But just seeing how my nieces were just very like cheering me on and championing me through something that was very difficult for me in the moment. And it was, and like I felt like I needed to be strong for them because I don't want them to be afraid of needles or their vaccines or whatever. And then after I had finally did it, Riley had snacks and a water for me on the couch, and I was like, who's the auntie and who's the niece? I felt very much like a niece in that moment, and Riley was my aunt. Those injections were hard, really, really hard. Menopur does hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it burns a lot. Not for long, but it burns, and there really isn't anything that can change it. But I got through it, so if I can get through it, anybody can get through it. I promise you that. But I had my mom there, and Damien was there for everyone, which I'll get to the story in a minute, but Damien was there for everyone. I had my mom there for the first 6 days, and then Damien's mom came in, which I was really excited for too, because she's a nurse, and so she's used to giving like shots and injections to people, so I was like, I know she's got it unlocked, like it's great. We are about to trigger. I got a call maybe a couple hours ago. I was waiting for the blood work to come back to see how my body is responding to all the meds before, and seeing if I should trigger tonight, which I am. So my mother-in-law is getting all of that ready back there. So yeah, triggered tonight, and then I go in tomorrow morning for more blood work just to make sure that the triggers are working. And then Wednesday is egg retrieval days. But there was one day, just a testament to how like great he was and has been during through all of this. There was one day that he had a late workout, and he was like, and I had to do my injection at like 10 o'clock that night, and his workout was from like 8. It started later. It was a later one. And he knew like how important it was. But it was important to him, and he knew that I would want him to be there at like all my injections, because I need 2 people at all times. I need someone to hold my hand literally and someone to do the injections. It was very high maintenance, but I'm not trying to be dramatic. I don't like needles. We're like setting up my station, my injection, and that was something that was really like therapeutic to me. I always set up my own injections. I always sterilize everything, because that just being hands-on with it and doing everything I could do up to the actual puncture was something that like just calmed my nerves. And he calls me and he's like, I'll be there like in 10 minutes or whatever. And like my brother called me because they were working together, and he was like, I'm sorry, we went a little bit longer, he had to take me home, like he's coming. And so he like pulls in really fast and gets home like right on time to give me my injection. Or not even give it to me, just to stand there and like he didn't really need to be there, but it was really important to him, and he knew how like important it was to me for him to be there. So that was like a really cool thing. Yeah. So anyways, we get through the last injection, and then it's egg retrieval day. I go through my egg retrieval, which hands down was the hardest part of IVF.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here today. We ask you continue to give us the strength, the guidance, and the courage go through every day. I ask you to protect us, continue to protect us, protect our family and friends, and just give us the strength to get through this day. I hope it all works out. We know that everything that we do is through you and for you, and just thankful that you've brought us here, and just continue to give us strength and guidance as we go through. through all phases, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.